Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm with Eric and we are going to show you how to make his famous chili. Eric, please say hello to my subscriber and introduce this famous dish of yours.
Well, hello subscribers, I'm Eric. Well, let's get through the ingredients here. First off, this is not a true chili, and the reason why I'm saying that is because there's some chili fanatics out there that would kill me, and a lot of them live in Texas and a lot of them have guns, so this is more of a chili stew. So just so we can clear that up, now let's go through the ingredients here. Okay, first thing first, I pre-prepared beans the other night, and I'm making two dishes, one with meat, one without meat. So I got here pinto bean or kidney beans, black beans, and black eyed peas. Sorry about that. With the black eyed peas, each one I did different, so the beans would soak up a different flavor. So with the black eyed peas, I took these, which are slabs of bacon. I prepared the black eyed peas with that, so it would give it a different flavor.
So, excuse me, so you can also use different meat?
Yeah, you can use different meat, but I prefer using this because, yeah, black eyed peas and pork is just, yeah, that's what it's made for. And with the kidney beans, I prepared them with chili powder. And with the black beans, I didn't do anything special. So we have three different types of ingredients, so you get three different types of flavors when you get into chili. Now we'll get on to the spices. Yes. I have chili powder, I have pepper, I have garlic powder, I have, what's this again? Yeah, no, paprika, yes, thank you very much, and curry powder. That's a little bit of a difference that I do here. Here, I try to do everything all natural, but there's some things that, yeah, just come better out of a can or pickled. One of them is the jalapenos. I love pickled jalapenos. And the corn, yeah, I'm sorry, corn out of a can is much easier and much better, and they come out crispier. And then I also have tomato frito, or yeah, basically a tomato paste. For my meats, I have hamburger, chicken, and yeah, the fatback that we were talking about. You can also add whatever meats you have. I like it with venison as well, but trying to get deer meat here in Holland, yeah, that's quite expensive and hard to find. For my veggies, I have onions, garlic, different variety of peppers, bell peppers or paprika or whatever you want to call it, tomatoes.
Button mushrooms?
Yeah, button mushrooms, and then I got tofu for the vegetarians out there. Yes. Now, as you see, as we're cooking this, I'm not going to add everything all at one time, and you'll see the reason why. And that's because you want to not incorporate all the flavors so the whole pot tastes the same. What I try to do is every little bit has a little bit of different taste with the chili over it, and that's just so you have a mouth orgasm. You know, I love having a rainbow flavor of in my chili stew. Okay,
so guys, that's a very straightforward ingredients from Eric. And Eric, before we start cooking, tell me the history and story about this chili dish.
Well, it's been work in progress for about 10 years. I do not use a set ingredient list, or I can't do a recipe. I just do it whatever I can find my hands on, and then I just change the flavors. Sometimes there's people that can't eat this or they want that, so I change it as it goes. And as you'll see when I'm cooking it, I'll taste test it, and then I'll just keep on adding or realizing that maybe I added too much of something.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, let's get cooking.
So while my lovely lady...
Sous chef, so now I'm the sous chef, so he's the chef.
So she is going to first start with the onions.
Okay.
We're going to get those cooking. I'm going to start with the meat here.
So how do you want me to slice up the onion?
Well, that's another good thing. I try to make everything so it can fit on a spoon. I'm going to go ahead and start preparing the chicken here. What I do is I slice it in the middle here, because like how I said, I don't want the chunks to be too big.
So Eric, while we're chopping, what's your story? I've known Eric by a friend of mine, and we met in a very specific and very particular setting. Once upon a time, almost 3 years ago. So, what's your story? How did you landed here in the Netherlands?
About back in 1999, my work, I don't know if you can put this on here, at that time it was Northwest Airlines.
Okay.
Asked for people to come out to Holland because they needed help while they were doing construction. So I came out here for 3 months during the summer of '99, and then went back home. And when I got back home, I heard that they were looking for a permanent position out in Holland. So I begged and pleaded, and next thing you know, they said okay, and they sent me out to Holland, and I started back my job in 2000. That went well, and 9/11 hit, and then they downsized everything, so I had to go back to Detroit, which I'm in love with, but in my hometown. But I just absolutely could not leave Amsterdam. I just felt.
Guys, I'm not crying. I almost cry, sorry. Maybe the viewers will say, why am I crying with your story? It's on, go on, sorry.
And so, from there, I had to go back to Detroit.
Okay.
And for a year and a half, I stayed there, and I kept on hoping that they would open a position back out here in Holland. So I did, and I came back out here, but then came out as a KLM employee.
Yeah.
And been here ever since. Now back onto the chicken. There's going to be some differences I'm going to do between the chicken, the fatback, and the hamburger. The one difference I'm going to do with the chicken is that's what I'm going to use the curry powder for. I just love curry chicken. And
I'm struggling.
I didn't know that was that sad for me to describe curry chicken. A little bit to enhance the flavor of the chicken, and it also helps with the overall stock of the chili.
So Eric, how is it like growing up in an American kitchen?
Well, it depends. It depends on who your parents are. I mean,
your mom, is she a good cook?
Oh yeah, of course. My mother's always the best cook I've ever had.
What is your favorite dish that she cooked when you were growing up?
My favorite dish was actually something not like this, but it was black-eyed peas or with ham hocks over rice. That was my mom's my favorite dish from my mom. Detroit's a melting pot. I mean, up until the car industry, it was a small town.
Yeah.
And then it just exploded with all types of immigrants. We have immigrants from everywhere. A large population of Polish people, people from the Balkans. We got a very large population of Arabic people, especially from Iraq and Lebanon. Then we have a very large population of African Americans. A lot of them came from down south. So they brought their flavors up there. So
do you miss it? Do you miss Detroit?
I miss Detroit, but I love Amsterdam. I always use peanut oil because it has a higher rate, so it doesn't burn. And now, we can stay hot a little bit. And let's get this over here. I need this.
Okay, is it like this chili dish is best eaten next day, right?
Yes. So what we're going to do now, we're not going to taste. I know, but I'll give you a taste, and then you can taste it tomorrow and see the difference. I always believe that you cook it the day before, let it set, and then reheat it. It does, whatever. I think chocolates do the same thing, where you or metals, just to, for some reason, it gives it a different flavor.
So now, guys, we are sauteing the chicken and curry. What do you need?
I need some of this.
Onions.
Yeah, onions, because I'm gonna, and then the peppers and the tomatoes. So do the peppers first.
Yeah.
And the tomatoes.
So now chopping the peppers. So do you like Dutch food?
I like all food. I'll eat anything.
So what's your favorite kitchen or dish aside from chili, of course, or American food? Aside from pork.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to say because I like everything. I love Mexican food, but that's because of a large amount of Latinos from Detroit, and I went to, my first high school had a large population of Latinos, and I love Latinas, the women, so of course I had to find a way to love their food. I also love Chinese food. That's because when I was growing up, me and my brother and our two best friends were from Hong Kong. And I'm gonna add this.
Well, I've convinced you, like, guys, I've convinced him long enough to share this recipe. I messaged him like, Eric, you know, can you give me like a recipe or something? He said, I don't have a recipe. So now it's a privilege that you're showing me. Thank you very much.
I wouldn't give my chili recipe to nobody. I mean, I got begged, I got offered with their firstborn daughters and stuff, and no. So I was going to take this to the grave, and well, I'm getting close to the grave, so she's been pestering me forever to give her the chili, but so is my other friend, so we thought together I could give her the recipe, she could tape it, and now I could spread my love throughout the world in a legal way.
So that's also what we did. What are we going with? I don't want my channel to be too emotional. I want this life in the Netherlands to be a bit more still fun. And my friend Eric here, he is a cancer.
Yeah, I have stage 5 pancreatic cancer, and I was giving 2.5 to 2.5 months to live. And I'm under this new type of program here in Holland, where I do most of my care at home, except for my chemo treatments that are once every 2 weeks. This doesn't cure my cancer, but what it does is it slows it down, so it gives me extended life. And they also given me a morphine drip box that I carry around all the time. So
this guys, you know what? Where is it? So
yeah,
showing
right
us,
here,
yes.
And so this gives me a constant morphine drip, so I could at least not be curled up on a hospital bed. Also, part of this program is that they know part of the not the survival rate, but the length to take this on is to have a positive attitude. So I've taken that to task. I'm going to take some of these, and it's worked. I mean, next week will be my 2.5 month mark, so I've already beaten that.
But what is your like reaction when they told you like?
Well,
what's your first initial reaction?
My first initial reaction is I went in for broken ribs, so I thought I was still in pain. It didn't heal up like it was supposed to, and then they did some blood tests and saw something was wrong with my liver, and so right then I thought, oh no, I can't drink for a while. I'm gonna be on liver medication,
especially on your like
so
healthy lifestyle.
I got kind of upset about that.
Okay.
But I dealt with it. I thought, well, at least I'm still alive. But then they said, yeah, we want to do a sonogram or an echogram. And they did that, and then they found spots on my liver. And so then they thought, well, we need to take a CT scan. So they took a CT scan.
Okay.
And well, I got to stop after the echogram. Then they found the cancer in my liver. So I was already devastated by that.
Okay.
They did the CT scan, and I wasn't going to get the result for 3 days. So I had 3 days to think about, I'm going to be on chemo, and they're going to take part of my liver, I'm going to be bald, you know, and all kinds of stuff. What am I going to tell my parents?
Yeah, that's what actually thinking like you're going to get bald, but you're not getting bald.
No, it was upsetting. But, yeah.
So where are you getting your motivation and fight now?
Well, that's what I'm going to get on about. So when I went into the hospital for my prognosis of the CT scan, I saw the face of my doctor, and I knew right then that something was wrong.
Yeah.
In fact, both doctors. Well, the one that told me with the liver cancer came into my room, and when I saw his face, I was like, something is fucked up. Something is wrong. Which leads me to another thing. If you're ever going to play poker, try to play it against doctors. They do not have a poker face at all. So I'd already built myself up for that. And then when I got after the CT scan, she told me I had pancreatic cancer. Okay. And I knew what pancreatic cancer was. I had already read up on what kind of cancers I don't want, and that was the one thing I didn't want. Because,
really?
Yeah, because they call it the silent death. You can't cure it. It's just a devastating thing.
Okay.
So of course I busted out in tears.
Yeah.
I was lucky that I had my friend Maria with me, so I had someone there with me to have a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah.
But the most devastating part was telling my parents.
Yeah, I met them last month, right?
Yep.
They were here.
That was the hardest part because my parents are very frail in health.
Yeah.
They're 80 years old, and I just knew that would be devastating to them because I'm the last son. I'm the last child left. And so after I told my parents, I had another cry. Then told my friends. Immediately, I had about 25 people in the hospital.
That's Eric. He has a lot of friends.
So it helped me having the friend basis with all those people. So immediately, 25 people were at my hospital. A lot of them were very upset, which I can kind of understand. But what happened is when I was in the hospital for those 3 days waiting for my results, I was in the chemo ward, and I noticed a lot of depression. I mean, people were crying, families were crying. I could see death in their face. But these were people who were going to be survivors.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I do not want to go out like that.
Yes.
I already dealt with the fact that at that time I thought 2.5 weeks to 2.5 months. So I'm not going to go out like that. And there's, not just for my sake, but for my friends' sake. I didn't want them to, because once I go, they're going to still be here and they're going to be, emotionally scarred by all this. And
that's actually the good thing that I like about you. Of course, I was a bit emotional when I found out the news about you. But hey, we've been partying still, being hangover with you.
Yeah.
You're not, you don't drink, of course. Us.
Okay, we're gonna cut back. So this is the reason why I say I do it like this. What I'm gonna do is cut them in half. And I try to leave it stringy, so that's why.
What did you put in there?
Everything except for the curry.
Okay.
Add a little bit more on top. Another word of advice is to watch out on how much black pepper you use and the amount of hot pepper. That was one thing I forgot to get out was the cayenne pepper. Because once you get that in the stew, it will overcome everything else. So you want to be just a little bit careful. If you like it a little bit hotter, then you could add some of the jalapenos or what have you.
Let's chop up the mushroom now and garlic. Garlic?
But do not smash it. I want it in slice. Because that will be actually the garlic, the mushrooms will go at the very last. Well, actually the corn will go after I shut off the heat. Then I throw the corn on because I don't want to get rid of the crispiness. When I went back to the hospital to get the next day to get my to find out what we're going to do with my treatment, they noticed in my blood count that my bile count from the liver was at 77 and imminent death is at 80.
What does it mean?
That
like
means
in a normal.
I had total liver shutdown.
Really?
And you can't do chemo treatment without the liver. So then they went back, you got only 2.5 weeks to live.
Yes.
Unless if we do this emergency operation.
Did you felt scared?
Well, I was already, what was going on throughout that whole process, I was geared up for anything. I had so many surprises, in a matter of 3 days I went to the hospital to complain about the pain from my broken ribs to having liver problems to having cancer and then on to I'm going to be dead. So, yeah, I was prepared by that time, of what was going to happen.
So what were you thinking? Were you like, how do you call that? So basically you're like facing death right now, right? Yeah. So what are your feelings and thoughts about it? Or did you have any regrets in the past that you should have done differently,
Well, the thing that helped the most was that I had my friends around me.
Yes.
Okay, I had so many people in the hospital that they actually told me you need to take that shit outside. And so yeah, basically I was having parties outside.
Yeah.
People were coming up, they were doing shots of liquor, and I made it absolutely clear to everybody, I do not want you to be depressed around me. I need, I've been very strict on keeping depression away from me.
Exactly. I'm also emotional about it.
Yeah, I know. When you came and you started crying, I told you don't, or you gotta go. I didn't mean to be mean or rude to anybody.
Exactly, I understand
except for the fact that, and it was for two reasons. One, for my own mental health, but you know, I already thought that I was gonna be gone, or that I am gonna be gone. So I don't want other people to be left with the trauma from me.
Exactly. So what did friends or family members do or say that meant the most to you?
Just them being there, being the support. The hospital staff noticed that. They thought maybe I was some type of rock star.
Yes, you are.
Just because the amount of people, but yeah, I'm sorry to say this one thing I will brag about. I have some hot fucking girlfriends, some friends.
Yeah.
And all these girls are like model-like, and you should have seen the heads that were turning. The nurses were like, who in the fuck is this guy? You know, we never heard of him. You know, he's got
maybe
groupies.
they think you're like a celebrity.
Yeah, they thought I was some type of celebrity with groupies. And then you know, but my friends were coming over. I was having so many people that I actually had to tell people, you know, I need to get rest. I need a
schedule, per schedule.
Yeah, I have two very good friends, Maria Myers and Lota. They are the best. Maria's like my technical advisor. She does all like, you need to take this at that time, you know, scheduling the doctor's appointments and stuff like that, because she's a biology major, so I was lucky with that. And then Lota was my sergeant at arms. She did basically the guest list. You know, if people wanted to come over, they had to contact her first.
Exactly.
I also selected them to be my, I don't know how you call that. I can't make any decisions without them.
Yes.
So when I go to the doctors, one of them has to be there, or the doctors won't tell them what's going on with me. And then Maria especially will tell me yes or no if I should take that route. So if
it's also because they're Dutch.
Yeah, they're Dutch. Yes. But just having them there, someone to look over and make sure everything was all right. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do this. In fact, part of the reason why I was selected for this new program was because...
Wait, question, this program, how many are you in the whole Netherlands?
Well, there's been a couple. I was wrong at first. I thought there was only 6 of us. There's only 6 of us that are
still alive.
Yeah, that are in the OLVG network at that time. So, you know, they're rolling it out. And basically what it does is, instead of sitting there dying up in a hospital, you're allowed to go home and at least die with dignity. And with the chemo, it extends your life, and with the morphine, it keeps me happy.
Well, what is like your advice to like people out there, especially to young people, with regards to your sickness, like, you know, stop drinking or what?
To avoid sickness?
Yes, to avoid your situation.
Don't do what I do.
I don't know if it's like a power question or I'm being stupid.
What I advise is for people that are going through my situation.
No, not yet. Like to avoid this kind of like cancer in general.
Eat green beans and don't go out. Only drink water. Don't fuck girls. Don't drink. Don't do drugs. I mean, basically, if that was my life, I'd die anyway.
Exactly.
So I mean, for each his own. But if you do get my type of prognosis, and you know, for each his own, you have to realize you're going to be dead.
Okay.
You know, so you got to put that in your head. No matter how much crying you do, it's not going to solve anything. So from there, then I was able to go. I got a choice. I could sit here and cry about it, or I can say, you know what? Until the day I croak, I'm going to have a party, and that's what I've been doing. Except it's kind of hard when you don't drink and all your friends are drunk around you. You start realizing, boy, people are fucking idiots when they're drunk. Yeah. Another word of advice: if you do prepare beans from scratch or dry, save the stock from that. It helps thicken up the overall.
Oh, okay, the juice.
Yeah, the juice.
Oh, you always throw it away.
Yeah, well, after you rinse, after you soak it, then you can rinse it. So you can rinse out all the stuff.
Oh, okay. So soak it together.
Plus, if you're going to add this to the beans, you don't want to get rid of that juice.
Okay. Oh, that's true.
I mean, that's
just to throw. So what is like? So I know, like I'm making fun. Well, there's no next step for you. But what still you want to do while you're still here? Do you still have any wish list or bucket list to check?
A lot of my bucket list to check. I've already checked it. That's how my life has been. I've had I've been lucky that I've traveled around the world, went to high school in Ireland. I lived in the ghettos of Detroit. I lived here in Amsterdam. I worked at a pretty famous nightclub in Detroit where a lot of big acts would play. So
you're Irish as well?
Yeah. Okay. So I met a lot of famous people throughout my day. With that, working at the airlines, you meet a whole different types of people. Also working at the bar, well, yeah, the girls were pretty good during that time. So basically, I was lucky that a lot of my bucket list has been checked off.
So no regrets?
Yeah, I have no regrets whatever.
Good.
So yeah, you can't. I'm lucky in that part. So each his own. I mean, that's a good thing for people who are still living and nothing happened. Get rid of that bucket list as soon as possible, because once you get in my situation, there's some things you can't get rid of the bucket list. Like, I've been skydiving. I wouldn't be able to do that now. I've skied a lot. I've mountain climbed. I've done a whole bunch of stuff that I wouldn't be able to do now. So get all that stuff out of the way. My only bucket list now is to promote love throughout the world. Explain to people that life is too short to be hating. And no matter what type of political aspect you have, you could be conservative, liberal, in the middle of the road. We're all human. We all got to live on this earth. And if you treat people with respect, then that's enough garlic.
I thought you want 2 bulbs of garlic. Okay.
So
I've been loving your speeches, so I keep on chopping my ass off.
So that all that together, made it easier for me to accept my outcome. I'm 49 years old. I've done more in my life than 10 people combined that are 100 years old.
I've witnessed that because I've known you for like 3 years.
Yeah.
You really did live your life.
So that's what I was gonna say. Live your life. You can't make that. Because one day everybody's gonna die, and you don't want to. You don't want to be sitting there in my situation going, "Oh man, I didn't get the 6 Thai hookers and a kilo of cocaine in Vegas." No, get your 6 Thai hookers, go to Vegas and get that kilo of cocaine and enjoy your life. Well, not a kilo of cocaine, but
a gram. Maybe.
Yeah. Enjoy your life. But for each his own on how they do it. Some people don't want to do it the way I do it, and I'm not going to blame them. I mean, this is the way I'm doing it.
So guys, we've chopped off the pork, bacon, and yeah, this is for how many people is this?
Yeah, depends on
how hungry we are tomorrow. It's Janice's birthday.
If there's 5 Janices, then I would need to make 2 of those. But in general, that should be able to feed about 10 or 12 people, maybe a little bit more.
This is clean. Yes.
Okay, this is pretty much done.
Yes.
I think I might have added too much to it, but we can take care of that later. Now we're going to go to this part. Let me grab this while we got it. Oh no, I'm going to turn this off. As you can tell, I'm going to need to add some water to that, so...
I'm going to wash this first.
Oh yeah.
Get some water first.
what I want to do is bring the water up to not all the way full, because if you do it too full, it starts getting too hot, then you're going to have a messy kitchen. So I'm going to put this at low. Well, actually, I'm going to bring it to a boil first.
So guys, we added some water, and then we'll bring it to a boil and then simmer. For how many hours?
I do it for about an hour, hour and a half, because the beans are already cooked, the meat is already pretty much pre-cooked, and so you just do an hour and a half to get it down, and during that time, that's when I'll do taste testing if I need to add more.
Season, yes.
Now, if it gets too hot, one of the things I do is add sugar to it. Okay, when it's coming to a boil, so I'm going to move it to the other burner and put it at a slow simmer. A word of advice, while it's boiling and while it's actually cooking, always try to stir it a little bit, especially at the bottom, you know, kind of scrape the bottom, or some of those beans and stuff will get stuck to there, and you just don't want that. But be careful on stirring too much, because you might destroy the beans and then make it into a mush. So just a word of advice on that. So now I'm going to move it over to the other one.
So guys, if you are curious with this recipe of Eric, I will try to write it as well. And I will put it at www.ceskitchen.com, and also the link in the description box. And yeah, I think we're going to wait till it cooks.
Yeah, because a lot of this stuff, the rest of the stuff doesn't go on until I'm almost done cooking this. So it'll be another hour, hour and a half.
So we're going to have some rest.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is add...
Where is it?
Is add the mushrooms and the garlic.
A lot of garlic.
Yeah, but not all of it. A little bit too much. And then the corn. And I do this at the last because, well, the corn, I don't want to cook the crispiness out of it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I add the mushrooms is to kind of soak up the flavor of the chili juice. And the reason why I do the garlic in slices, because I'm not doing it too much for flavor. What I'm doing is to give it that extra morsel of goodness into the
and garlicky bite.
Yeah, I don't want the whole thing to be covered in a garlic.
Yeah.
I don't want garlic to cover the whole thing, overpower. I just want that so when you get a little bit of this, it'll give you a little bit of crispiness. So let's do that. Now add them to both of them. A little bit less than a handful to the big one, maybe a little bit more. Add that to that. And then...
Smells good. On a vegetarian one, it's the same?
Same. Because the vegetarian dish is a little bit smaller than that one, so I'm not going to add all that. We got that. Now that's done. Now, for my secret ingredient.
Morphine. Oh, the sweet
chili sauce.
Sweet chili sauce.
So that's what kind of separates my chili from other chilies.
Oh, now I know.
Now everybody, and this kind of will, it will still give some heat, but it will give it a sweet hotness to it. So for this, I give about a little bit more than a half a bottle for the big one. Let's see about there. And then for this, about a little bit more than a quarter, so about a third of that bottle. And I'll just stir it in there, and then I'll let that simmer for about another 20 minutes.
Okay.
And tomorrow when it's done, I might add more spices or more of whatever I think that it might be missing. So, but I won't judge that until tomorrow, because you need to let it, for me, you need to let it sit overnight before it's actually prepared. And when I do it, I'm not going to put it in the refrigerator because it's just, my refrigerator won't fit it, but you also don't really need to put it in the refrigerator.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, if you keep keep it sealed up, and then after you're done heating it, you could just turn it off and it'll kind of create its own seal, so you don't have to worry about little buggies. So
now 40 minutes, and then the corn?
Well, you could do an hour and a half.
Yes.
To really make the, especially for the meat, to soften it up.
Okay.
But
but I definitely don't put this in until I'm done cooking, and then add it. And that's so the corn stays crispy. And I don't. The other reason why I add this a little bit later is because one time I did do it at the beginning, and I noticed that it created it helped the burning process.
Oh, so, yeah, because of the sugar.
Yeah. So you don't want to crystallize the sugars too much, if that's what it is. And then also for the jalapenos, I do that tomorrow as well. I don't add it too much because if you add the jalapenos in now, it will, just like the garlic, it will overcome everything. And yeah, that'll be about it. So
we will wait for another 45 minutes and then we will add the corn, and so see you again.
Actually, only 20 minutes.
20 minutes, sorry.
Well, the chili's pretty much been cooking about as far as I wanted to. I'm going to turn down everything. You can leave it, for me, I can leave it overnight in the containers that they're in. But what I'm going to do first is add, because this is a bigger one, I'll just add that. You don't need to worry about stirring it in or nothing.
Okay. So just like leave it like that, so no stirring, nothing at all, and then turn off the gas.
Yeah, before I turn it off, I'm going to put the lid on so it kind of creates a seal. So, and then that will also kind of do a partial, very, very slow cook. And that's it until tomorrow.
So Eric, what is your last word, or not last word, give us maybe a wisdom to ponder on and to think about?
Love your fellow man. Legally, of course, and women. I don't want to lay them out. And just spread the love. Today I'm going to do a chili today and tomorrow, but there's a whole bunch of other ways. If you see someone depressed and out of whack, just tell them that you love them. Listen to them. Everybody has their own story. If people are being an asshole, maybe someone treated them like a piece of shit. But if you, I can't tell you on how much you can change someone's perspective in life if you just show them love. Legally.
So okay guys, that wraps up my recipe video with Eric. If you want this recipe video, and if you want, give us a thumbs up and give us a love, because we will make food that will always make you feel good. Bye!
Bye.